Abandoned and forgotten, this starship was reborn by a human mechanic. It was said that the few who dared to land never returned, or if they did, they came back with nothing but stories of dust, echoes, and old machines that seemed to watch them. But Jace did not care for rumors. To him, Drevos 7 was opportunity. A human mechanic in a galaxy where humans were considered fragile and limited, Jace thrived where others saw danger. While alien engineers relied on rigid protocols, Jace relied on his instinct. He could see patterns where others only saw chaos. And that had kept him alive this long. Jace landed his small cargo skiff near the remains of a once grand orbital station. Its skeletal frame jutted into the gray sky like the bones of some long-dead leviathan. He adjusted his visor, scanning the horizon. Rusted hulls glinted under the dull sunlight, some of them large enough to have carried entire cities in their prime. He pushed the skiff forward. "Let's see if you have anything worth saving," he muttered, speaking to his ship as much as himself. Human habit, he supposed, but comforting. Hours passed as he navigated through the wreckage, picking through panels, wiring, and fragments of technology. Most ships had been picked clean, their valuable components stripped by scavengers long before him. But then, in a quiet valley surrounded by jagged metal spires, he saw it. A starship unlike any he had ever encountered. It was enormous, longer than 10 of his skiffs put end to end. Its shape was elegant yet alien, with smooth, dark panels that seemed to absorb the dull light of Drevos 7. The hull was scratched and dented, but there was a strange symmetry to the damage, almost as if the ship itself had endured its trials gracefully. Jace's pulse quickened. He landed nearby and stepped out, boots crunching on metal debris. He circled the ship, running his gloved hand along its hull. There was no name, no markings, no identification, just a strange, humming vibration under his fingertips, a faint warmth. "It's alive," he whispered, not fully understanding why he felt that. He approached the access hatch, which had been torn and rusted shut. After an hour of careful work, his tools scraping and sparking, the hatch finally gave way. A hiss of recycled air escaped, followed by the low, echoing thrum of the ship's core. Inside, the ship was dark, but faint lights blinked across consoles, and shadows stretched along the walls like ghosts. Panels hung loose, wires snaked across the floor, and the air smelled faintly of ozone and decay. Jace crouched beside a console, running diagnostic probes through the wrecked systems. Screens flickered, numbers scrolled and then died. The AI core, the heart of the ship, was badly damaged. Still, he noticed something extraordinary, a pulse, weak, irregular, but unmistakably alive. "Who left you here?" Jace said softly, almost to himself. "Why are you waiting for me?" He spent the next few days carefully scavenging the ship. Drevos 7 storms raged outside, but inside, Jace worked tirelessly. The work was slow, painstaking. Broken circuits, fused wires, missing components. Each repair required both his hands and his mind. He realized quickly that he could not treat this like any other ship. It was not just advanced technology. It was different. Its design did not follow logic familiar to human or alien engineers. Panels shifted slightly when touched. Screws and bolts seemed to resist removal, then fall perfectly into place when least expected. Jace laughed one night, tired and dirty. "You've got a sense of humor, huh?" he said. The ship gave a soft hum in reply, like a sigh. He worked through exhaustion, guided by intuition more than tools. Nights blurred into days. When food and water ran low, he rationed carefully. But he could not stop. There was something calling him from inside the ship, a silent plea he could not ignore. On the 5th day, something remarkable happened. A panel in the central control room lit up with a faint blue glow. Jace froze. The lights spelled words. Simple, broken, but unmistakable. "Human chosen," Jace stared. 1,000 questions raced through his mind. Chosen for what? By whom and why him? He sat down in the pilot's chair, feeling the hum beneath him grow stronger. The ship vibrated gently, almost like breathing. It was as if it were awakening from a long sleep, testing him. "I guess you need me, huh?" Jace said quietly. The days that followed were a mix of frustration and discovery. He tried accessing the ship's memory banks. Most files were corrupted, erased, or encrypted beyond conventional methods, but fragments survived. Star charts, mission logs, messages from alien crews long dead. The ship had seen more of the galaxy than any living being. It had flown through nebulae, past black holes, and into regions humans had only dreamed of. Jace's mind raced with possibilities. This ship, it could be the fastest, most advanced craft in the galaxy if I fix it. But it's more than that. It's history, and it's alive. At night, he would lie on a makeshift bed in the cargo bay, listening to the low hum of the AI core. It was comforting and strange, like sharing a heartbeat with a friend. He imagined the ship speaking to him, sharing tales of stars, of civilizations, of battles and discoveries long forgotten. But not everyone believed in the miracle Jace was nurturing. Scavengers from nearby sectors came to Drevos 7, drawn by rumors of a massive starship. They were brutal, greedy, and ready to take anything by force. Jace had to defend his claim. He rigged traps, set decoys, and used his knowledge of human ingenuity to outwit them. Where alien minds would rush in expecting to overpower, Jace anticipated every move. He led a small group of scavengers into a collapsing hangar, tricking them into thinking the ship was fully operational. When the hangar doors slammed behind them, leaving them trapped, Jace slipped away with a grin. "They always underestimate humans," he muttered. "And they always will." By the 10th day, progress was remarkable. Sections of the ship were now fully operational. Lights illuminated corridors, engines hummed faintly, and the control systems responded to his touch. Every repaired panel, every rewired circuit seemed to strengthen the ship itself. Then came the moment Jace had both feared and anticipated. The AI core fully activated. A holographic projection flickered to life in the cockpit. It was not human. It was not fully alien either. It was a form of light, shifting and changing like liquid silver. Its voice was soft but firm, mechanical yet strangely emotive. "Human," it said, "you have awakened me." Jace's heart raced. "I did what I could," he replied, unsure how to speak to a being so alien and yet so alive. The ship's hologram shimmered. "I have waited for a mind capable of understanding me. Most beings are too rigid, too predictable. You are different. You have intuition." Jace scratched his head. "Intuition, huh? You mean stubbornness?" The ship pulsed in response and Jace laughed. "Fine, I'll take it, but you better not explode on me." Over the next hours, the ship began sharing fragments of its purpose. It had been a research vessel exploring uncharted regions, mapping anomalies and observing civilizations long vanished. It had been abandoned when a galactic war swept through, leaving it stranded on Drevos 7. Its creators had fled or perished, and now it had found a human. "Why me?" Jace asked. "You possess qualities rare in the galaxy," the ship replied. "Creativity, ingenuity, perseverance, empathy. You see beyond what is to what could be. You are human." Jace's lips curved into a smile, pride swelling in his chest. For centuries, humans had been dismissed as fragile, insignificant, even disposable. And yet here he was, reviving a starship that no alien mind could understand or repair. A new bond was forming, not just mechanic to machine, but mind to mind, soul to machine. And Jace knew, deep down, that this was only the beginning. As night fell over Drevos 7 and the storms howled outside, the starship lay awake, its systems humming in harmony with Jace's heartbeat. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, uncharted systems awaited. And together, human and ship would find them. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had something it had never expected, a human who could bring the forgotten back to life. And the ship, abandoned and left to die, had found its rebirth. The storm on Drevos 7 had passed, leaving a cold calm over the metal graveyard. Jace stood in the cockpit of the colossal starship, staring at the flickering consoles. The ship hummed softly beneath his hands, a sound like breathing, like it was alive and aware. He had never worked on anything like this before. No human, and likely no alien either, had touched this ship in decades. Its systems were alien and intricate, more advanced than anything in the current galaxy, yet strangely intuitive. Every wire, every panel seemed to respond to him as if the ship knew he would come. "This is going to be fun," Jace muttered, rolling up his sleeves. The next few days were a blur of repairs, adjustments, and testing. Jace worked tirelessly, using his ingenuity to solve problems that no guide or manual could explain. Some of the ship's panels reacted oddly when he touched them. Buttons moved when he didn't press them, and screens displayed faint, ghostly symbols that disappeared when he tried to read them. He laughed to himself. "You're full of surprises, aren't you?" The ship responded with a gentle vibration, almost like a nod. Jace's human mind was exactly what the ship needed. While alien engineers relied on strict logic, he thought outside the box. When circuits didn't connect the way they should, he improvised. When sensors refused to calibrate, he built his own. Slowly, the ship began to respond. Lights glowed steadily in the corridors. Power flowed through previously dead sections. The hum of the engines grew louder, stronger, more alive. By the end of the first week, Jace had achieved something incredible. The ship moved under its own systems for the first time in decades. Not far, just a few meters inside the hangar, but it was a start. "You're alive," he whispered, awe in his voice. "I knew you could be." But bringing the ship back to life was not without challenges. Drevos 7 was not completely abandoned. Scavengers had learned rumors of a massive ship awakening, and they were not about to let a human claim it. One night, as Jace slept in a makeshift bed in the cargo bay, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the walls, and the ship's soft hum shifted into a tense vibration. "Visitors," Jace muttered, grabbing his tools like weapons. Through the viewports, he saw a group of scavenger ships descending from the sky. They had weapons and greed in equal measure. Jace didn't panic. He smiled, a glint of human cunning in his eyes. "They underestimate humans. Every single time," he muttered. Using the ship's old systems, he rigged a few traps. Hallways lit up with sudden energy fields. Corridors collapsed just enough to block pursuers. The scavengers were strong but predictable. Jace was not. He led them through narrow passages, where his small size and knowledge of the ship gave him an advantage. In the end, the scavengers retreated, frustrated and humiliated. The ship seemed to pulse happily under his hands, almost proud of their teamwork. Over the following weeks, Jace worked tirelessly. He had discovered a hidden energy core deep within the ship. It was old, experimental, unstable, but if repaired, it could make the Starship faster, stronger, and more resilient than any other craft in the galaxy. But the risk was high. One mistake and the ship could explode. Jace studied the core. He consulted alien schematics, tried simulations in the ship's memory banks, and even improvised some human methods that no alien mind could have imagined. It was slow work, and several times he had to retreat, repairing minor sparks and small fires that ignited during testing. "You're lucky you didn't burn me alive," he muttered, wiping soot from his cheek. Yet despite the danger, Jace pressed on. He was not just fixing a machine. He was building a partnership. He talked to the ship as he worked, explaining his plans, joking, sometimes arguing when systems didn't respond as he hoped. And the ship, in turn, responded, not just mechanically, but almost emotionally. Lights flickered in patterns that felt like attention. The engines thrummed in rhythm with his heartbeat when he stood close. It was a strange, beautiful relationship, human and Starship, working together to bring something forgotten back to life. As he neared the core, Jace realized the ship had something to teach him. Hidden in the data logs were fragments of missions it had undertaken. It had explored regions of space no one else had dared. It had witnessed stars being born and civilizations falling. And it had waited for a mind capable of understanding, capable of bringing it back. "You waited for me," Jace whispered. "Why?" "Because most cannot see beyond what is," the ship's voice said softly, emanating from the AI core. "You see what could be. You are human." "You are different," Jace smiled. "I take that as a compliment." Weeks passed. Every day the ship grew stronger. Its engines roared with power. Its navigation systems could chart entire star systems in moments. Its shields adapted to the environment, testing themselves against the storms and radiation that had made Drevos 7 a graveyard. Finally, the day came for the first full test outside the planet. Jace stood at the helm, heart racing, hands steady on the controls. "You ready?" he asked the ship. "Yes," it replied. "Together." The hangar doors opened, revealing the gray expanse of Drevos 7. Jace pressed the thrusters. The ship responded smoothly, moving with a grace that belied its enormous size. He laughed as they lifted into the sky, the storms beneath them breaking away. As they climbed into orbit, Jace saw a problem. Sensors detected an unknown ship approaching fast. It was a patrol vessel, military grade, and clearly not friendly. "Looks like someone wants to meet us," Jace said, tightening his grip. The patrol ship hailed them. "Identify yourselves, you are trespassing." Jace frowned. "We're not trespassing, we just woke up a very old friend." The alien ship did not seem amused. Its weapons charged and its shields flared. Jace had seconds to think. Alien ships relied on predictability and brute force. Jace relied on improvisation, intuition, and human creativity. He maneuvered the ship in ways the patrol could not anticipate. Using asteroid fields and debris from Drevos 7 as cover, he darted and spun, making it impossible for the alien ship to lock onto them. He activated the experimental core, boosting the engines in short bursts, careful not to destabilize them. The patrol ship fired. Energy blasts ripped past, hitting asteroids and metal wrecks, but never Jace. "You think you can predict me?" he shouted, grinning. "Try harder." Finally, the alien ship, frustrated and unable to catch the Starship, retreated. The ship pulsed in satisfaction, almost like a laugh. Jace laughed too, feeling the thrill of victory. "We make a good team," he said. The victory was short-lived. As they left Drevos 7 orbit, the ship began showing him the true potential hidden in its systems. Adaptive shields that could change shape depending on the attack. Hulls that could self-repair in minutes. Navigation systems that could plot courses through wormholes and black holes. Every innovation was beyond what current civilizations could imagine. And Jace, through his stubbornness and creativity, made it work. He tuned systems in ways no alien mind could, combining intuition with technical skill. Every adjustment made the ship more alive, more aware, more capable. It was not long before the ship began to trust him entirely. It shared fragments of knowledge, uncharted star systems, civilizations long gone, technologies forgotten. Jace listened, learning, absorbing, imagining what could be done. "This is bigger than me," he whispered. "Bigger than any of us." But for the first time in his life, he did not feel small. He felt human, strong, clever, capable. In a galaxy that often dismissed humans as weak, he had proven otherwise. He had revived the impossible. And together, he and the ship were no longer just survivors. They were pioneers. The days blurred into weeks. Jace continued to refine the systems, each success bringing new challenges. Minor failures, sparks, and system errors tested him constantly, but each time he adapted. Each time he grew closer to the ship. Then one night deep in the heart of the ship, a new projection appeared. Not just lights or symbols, but a full holographic map of an uncharted star system. The ship's voice, steady and warm, spoke. "Human, this is the path forward. Beyond known space, There are secrets waiting, challenges only you can face. Are you ready? Jace stared at the glowing map, heart pounding. I was born ready, he said, and for the first time the galaxy felt wide, limitless, and full of possibility. A human mechanic, stubborn, inventive, and unbroken, had not just repaired a forgotten ship, he had given it life again. Together they would explore, create, and discover. And nothing, not alien fleets, not lost civilizations, not even the vast darkness of space, would stop them. The Starship, once abandoned and forgotten, had been reborn, and with a human at its side, it would never be forgotten again. The galaxy was vast, silent, and full of dangers. From the command deck of the colossal starship, Jace stared at the swirling colors of a nearby nebula. The ship hummed under his hands, alive and responsive. He could feel its energy pulsing in rhythm with his own heartbeat. Together, they had left Drevo's 7 behind, escaping scavengers and military patrols. But the adventure was only beginning. Jace leaned back in the pilot chair, thinking about everything they had accomplished. In just a few weeks, he had restored a forgotten starship to life. He had tamed its experimental core, defended it from hostile forces, and unlocked systems no one had touched in centuries. And the ship had chosen him as its partner. "You ready for what's next?" he asked aloud. "Yes," the ship replied. Its voice carried warmth, calm, and intelligence. "I am ready because you are ready. We will explore beyond known space together." Jace smiled. The thrill of the unknown filled him. Humans had always been considered weak, fragile, and limited. Yet here he was, defying expectation. His creativity, courage, and persistence had turned the impossible into reality. And now, the galaxy itself would see what humans could do. The first encounter, as they traveled through uncharted space, Jace's sensors picked up a faint signal, a vessel unlike any he had seen before. Sleek, metallic, and far larger than most ships he had encountered, it moved with precise, silent efficiency. "Someone's here," Jace murmured, "and they're curious." The ship's AI scanned the vessel. "It is a patrol cruiser from the Dravani Empire. They are known for their suspicion of humans." Jace's grin widened. "Perfect. Let's show them what humans can do." The Dravani cruiser hailed them, demanding identification. Its voice was cold, sharp, and unyielding. "Identify yourselves. You are in restricted space. Turn back immediately." Jace shook his head. "We're explorers, nothing more and nothing less." The cruiser fired warning shots. Energy beams streaked past the colossal ship, lighting up space with brief bursts of power. The ship vibrated under Jace's hands, almost anxious, as if sensing the danger. Jace's mind raced. Alien fleets followed logic, predictable patterns, and rigid strategies. Humans had something different. Intuition, creativity, unpredictability. He used the ship's adaptive thrusters to dodge the beams in ways the Dravani cruiser could not anticipate. He spun the colossal vessel through a nearby asteroid field, narrowly avoiding massive rocks, using them as cover. The Dravani ship struggled to keep up. Every maneuver Jace made was calculated, yes, but unconventional. It was human ingenuity in action, improvised, intuitive, unstoppable. Finally, after several daring moves, Jace led the Dravani cruiser into a trap of their own design. The cruiser's sensors were jammed by the ship's experimental core. Jace fired a series of energy pulses, not to destroy but to disable temporarily, giving the human and the starship a clear escape. The ship hummed with satisfaction. "You think in ways I could not anticipate. That is human," Jace chuckled. "And don't you forget it." Exploring the unknown after escaping the Dravani patrol, Jace charted a course toward an uncharted star system. The ship's sensors detected multiple planets, some rich in resources, some barren, and one showing signs of life. "Looks like someone, or something, is home," Jace said. They descended to the habitable planet, entering a dense atmosphere that the ship adapted to smoothly. The planet was lush, with forests stretching across continents and rivers glittering like silver ribbons. Yet the sensors picked up intelligent life, a species that had never encountered humans before. They are cautious, the ship noted. They may be dangerous if provoked. Jace knew that brute force would accomplish nothing here. Humans had another advantage: empathy. The ability to understand, negotiate, and connect. He used the ship's communication systems to send a signal, projecting images of himself and the ship in peaceful gestures. Slowly, the alien life forms approached, curious but wary. Jace smiled, realizing that patience, creativity, and understanding were more powerful than any weapon. The aliens, after observing Jace's non-threatening behavior and the ship's gentle hum, began to respond. A rudimentary conversation emerged through symbols and sound. Jace adapted, using trial and error, improvisation, and intuition. By the end of the day, he had formed a fragile but real alliance. The aliens offered guidance about the star system, resources, and safe paths through asteroid fields. "Humans are surprising," the ship remarked. "Tell me about it," Jace replied, grinning. "We've got a lot going for us." The galactic threat their peace was short-lived. While exploring the system, the sensors picked up a fleet moving at impossible speed, a coalition of hostile ships from a neighboring empire. Their mission: capture advanced technology and any humans they could find. Jace's eyes narrowed. "Looks like it's showtime." The fleet attacked without warning, firing missiles and energy beams. The Starship, now fully operational and attuned to Jace's commands, responded instantly. Its shields adapted to the incoming attacks, hull plating reinforced itself, and engines shifted in ways that defied conventional physics. But the fleet was vast. Even with the ship's power, the humans' creativity would be tested. Jace leaned into the controls, improvising strategies in real time. He led the fleet through a dense asteroid belt, making sharp turns no alien ship had ever executed. He activated the experimental core, creating bursts of energy that pushed the ship forward unpredictably, confusing the enemy. And then Jace did something no alien would dare. He intentionally split the ship's energy output into multiple channels, creating illusions of multiple ships. The fleet fired upon shadows, wasting their ammunition and leaving them vulnerable. The ship responded, adapting faster than the fleet could predict. In every move, Jace's ingenuity gave them an advantage, turning near defeat into triumph. The fleet, frustrated and humiliated, retreated. "You're incredible," the ship said, admiration in its voice. "No mind but yours could have done this." Jace laughed, sweat and grime on his face. "I told you humans are full of surprises." The human advantage after the battle, the ship and Jace explored further into uncharted space. They discovered derelict alien stations, lost civilizations, and phenomena that defied logic. And with every challenge, Jace proved humans' unique advantage. Where aliens relied on rigid protocols, Jace improvised. Where machines depended on programming, he used intuition. Where weapons and strength failed, he used empathy, understanding, and creativity. Together, Jace and the ship became more than a pilot and vessel. They became a single entity. The ship anticipated his thoughts. He understood its reactions. Their bond was so complete that it felt like the galaxy itself was aware of their partnership. One day, deep in a nebula filled with colorful gases and magnetic storms, the ship detected another unknown signal. This time, it was not hostile. It was a call for help, a lost colony cut off from the galaxy for centuries. "Human," the ship said, "we can help them, but it will be dangerous." Jace didn't hesitate. "Then we help them. That's what humans do." They navigated the storm, dodging lightning-like plasma strikes and unstable energy fields. Jace's human intuition guided the ship in ways no protocol could. They reached the colony, repairing communication systems, stabilizing life support, and providing resources. The humans of the colony stared in awe at the colossal ship and the mechanic who had mastered it. "You're human?" one asked, disbelief in their voice. Jace smiled. "Yeah, we're capable of more than you think." A new reputation. Word of Jace and the Starship spread quickly across the galaxy. Humans, long underestimated, were now seen differently. Stories circulated of a human mechanic who had revived a forgotten starship, defended it against fleets, and explored uncharted space with courage and creativity. The ship itself became legendary. Once abandoned and forgotten, it was now alive, intelligent, and unstoppable, powered not just by engines or energy cores, but by the human mind guiding it. Jace knew the truth. Humans were not the strongest physically. They did not have the fastest ships or the deadliest weapons. But they had ingenuity, creativity, empathy, and courage, the qualities that had revived a ship thought lost to time. And with those qualities, they could change the galaxy. The next adventure. As Jay stood in the cockpit, watching stars streak past the window, he felt the hum of the ship under his hands. It was a partnership, a bond that transcended technology and species. Together, they had proven that humans, underestimated and dismissed, could achieve the impossible. "Where to next?" he asked the ship. "Wherever you wish," it replied. "The galaxy is open and no human has ever explored it fully. We can do this together." Jace smiled, hands steady on the controls. He knew they would face dangers, enemies, and challenges that would test them again and again. But he also knew one thing: human creativity, courage, and persistence could overcome anything. The starship, once abandoned and forgotten, had been reborn, and with a human at its side, it would explore, protect, and inspire the galaxy. The story of Jace and his ship would become legend, not because of brute force or alien technology or advanced weapons, but because a human believed, persisted, and created. And the galaxy, vast and endless, would never underestimate humans again.